Aakasha Bindu is the Sanskrit name given to the respiratory center. This is the center that governs the process of our breathing in and our breathing out. This center is situated in the brain stem, that is at the top of the spine. The spinal cord at the top has the brain stem, and then we have the whole brain. We must never forget the brain is an outgrowth of the spinal cord, though it looks like the spinal cord is the tail to the brain. At the top of the spinal cord, in the brain stem, we have three parts. We have the pons, the medulla, and the midbrain. The pons and the medulla are the seat where the respiratory center is situated. This seat that governs the whole process of our breathing is known as Aprakasha Bindu, that which is beyond the Akasha, that point in yoga. To bring under control, to bring under our conscious control, because pranayama is the conscious expansion of that life energy. To bring this center under our conscious control, a mudra is used, and this is called the Aprakasha mudra. This mudra is performed by producing a swallowing action, as if you are swallowing something, just as you swallow, and it is done at the end of the inspiration. Whenever we want to do the Aprakasha mudra, at the end of breathing in, you breathe in and you hold the breath. So this process of holding the breath after having done the swallowing action is the safe process. When we hold the breath in, the negative pressure, the positive pressure, that these pressure changes that are produced can have disastrous consequences, and it is important to safeguard ourselves. One of the simplest safeguards is this Aprakasha mudra. So please remember, whenever you breathe in, to take your breath, a deep breath in, and then perform the swallowing action when you want to hold your breath. And when you are ready to breathe out, you can release the Aprakasha mudra and you breathe out. There are hundreds of pranayamas in the yoga tradition, yet 8 of these pranayamas have been given the status of classical pranayamas or the Ashta Kumbhakas. Ashta meaning 8 and Kumbhaka referring to the pranayama as is referred in the Hatha Yoga tradition. The Hatha Yoga tradition uses the term Kumbhaka to mean pranayama and doesn't use pranayama on its own. In the Hatha Yoga tradition, emphasis is placed on the extensive held in breath, that is the Antara Kumbhaka. And so the pranayamas are referred to as Kumbhakas. The Ashta Kumbhakas include Surya bhedana, Ujjayi, Sitkari, Shitali, Bhastrika, Bhramari, Murcha and Plavini. The Surya bhedana is the sun-cleaving breath, where the air is taken in the right nostril and then it is left out through the left nostril. The process of breathing in through the right and the breathing out through the left is one aspect of Surya bhedana. The second aspect is to include a ratio such as 1-4-2, where you breathe in for a count of say 2, hold in for 4 times that count, that is 8, and breathe out for twice it, that is 4. So a 2-8-4, a 1-4-2, which could go up to 4-16-8, and you could take it up depending on your practice, always with the use of the 3 bandhas, the Mula, the Udyana and the Jalandhara bandha. Surya bhedana is commonly taught just to breathe in the right and out the left, and as a throwaway practice. Please remember, it is one of the Shakti pranayamas. When it is used properly, in the proper ratios, with the bandhas, it can generate intense heat that can burn away so many of the ailments and make us fit for the higher aspects of yoga. Ujjayi, the victorious breath, is performed by contracting the glottis, the throat region, breathing against resistance, where the sonorous sound as if you are snoring is produced in the back of the throat. Again, the Ujjayi must be performed with the three bandhas, must be performed in the ratio 1:4:2 and with the use of the Hamsa Soham Ajapa Gayatri. That is, as you breathe in, being aware of the sound of Sa, that is the higher self coming in, and as you breathe out, being aware of the individuality, the hum going out. The Sa coming in and the hum going out. Giving up the individuality for the sake of the universality. It is a very important part of the Ujjayi Pranayama. Again, nowadays, Ujjayi is taught as a throwaway practice by just concentrating on the throat region without understanding that this Jai, this victory, is a victory where we are transcending the individuality for the sake of the universality. The third of the Ashtakumbhakas, the Sitkari, is one of the cooling pranayamas performed by folding the tongue back. We are performing the Jivha mudra, the tongue gesture, and breathing in through the mouth. It is interesting that in Sitkari, we breathe in through the mouth and breathe out through the nose, producing a sense of cooling. This pranayama can affect our hypothalamus, and it can affect the appetite and the satiety centers, regulating the temperature, regulating the appetite, and regulating the whole body metabolic activity. Shitali is performed by performing the Kakachandra mudra. In the Kakachandra mudra, like a crow's beak, the tongue is curved and the air is sipped in through the tongue, producing a cooling sensation, and then you breathe out through the nose. Only in these two cooling pranayamas do we breathe in the mouth and breathe out the nose, producing that sense of cooling, regulating the temperature, and producing a normalization of the appetite and satiety centers of the hypothalamus. The next of the Ashtakumbhakas is the Bhastrika, which is the bellows breath. In the bellows breath, we breathe in and out rapidly, just as a blacksmith's bellows moves. And there's a process of starting slow, medium, and going fast until we can perform 120 rounds of this Bhastrika in a minute, breathing at a frequency of 2 breaths per second. At the end of that, a deep inhalation is done through the right nostril. The breath is held as long as comfortable, and then an exhalation through the left nostril. Bhastrika can help us shatter the tamas, that inertia that is not allowing us to grow in our evolutionary journey towards the divine. Bhastrika can burn up the kapha. It can normalize the dhatus and produce health and harmony in the body. Bhramari, the bee sounding breath, is one of the Ashtakumbhakas, an amazing pranayama that helps us to reduce our stress levels at the physical, emotional and mental level, and also help intone that divine vibration, becoming one with the cosmic vibration. The Bhramari, which will be presented later in this presentation, is an excellent pranayama and has amazing benefits for each and every practitioner. A sound like a bee can be utilized. And I, in my own experience, have found that each person's speed of vibration, each person's pitch is different. And the practice of Bhramari with a low, mid and high pitch is very useful. A low pitch would be middle pitch, and a high pitch. Bhramari is advised to be practiced at night, where the opportunity to tune into these vibrations is much more present. The last two of the Ashtakumbhakas are never taught much. The Murcha, which is the swooning breath, it is the process where you breathe in and you hold the breath until a sense of fainting, of falling into a stupor occurs. Swamiji, Geethananda Giri, who codified the Geethananda tradition, used to equate it with the electroconvulsive therapies that are given for many of the psychiatric patients. A shock therapy, where you reset your nervous system by giving it a shock. This is not taught much and must not be performed unless under the direct guidance of a qualified and experienced teacher. The last of the Ashtakumbhakas, the Plavini, the floating breath, where we breathe in, swallowing the air until we can expand our stomach, just as if you are filling up a hot air balloon, and then you can float on the water if you like, and maybe with sincere and dedicated practice you can float up in the air, achieving what the yogis call Vayu Stambham, the ability to walk in the sky. These are practices that require direct instruction from a guru who is versed in these. This presentation is only to create an awareness in your mind. This presentation doesn't replace the need for direct instruction from a qualified and well experienced teacher.